Good evening to everyone. Good day to Ma'am Cheriroho, and welcome back to another episode of CCS Podcast. Today's episode, we'll be talking about ways media shape our ideologies. And of course, we all have the same guest for tonight's episode.
Hi, I'm Sam.
Hi everyone, it's nice to see you again. This is Jomar Baro.
Hi guys, my name is Mark Angelo Bulalay and it's nice to meet you again.
Hi, I am Juancho Miguel Cataroja, your host for this channel, and it's nice to meet you again for the third episode.
And hello there, I'm Krishna George.
Okay, so that's Chrisana Conche, and today we've been asked a simple question. So, how does media shape our ideologies? So, it's been a question that a lot of people have been asking for a couple of years now, and since it's media's evolution, it's always keeping on evolving, and we all have the need for a say to that. And so let's start. So when we answer that certain question, it's a complicated question, so it makes it simple. And now we all have the answers for tonight's episode. I'm very glad I have you all tonight.
Yes. The more popular sense view is that media influence significant but only in fixing the problem the public consider most important their agenda. In some respects, both as an audience enjoy the social autonomy in developing their political preference.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. It is our nature as humans to never get contented. Everything changes so fast, even as the people. And the factor affecting this the most, or maybe the driving cause, is media. All things pretty much is influenced by it. How do people talk, dress up, even where people go? Media is always be the one that sets the standard on these things. For example, in fashion, since the early years has greatly evolved, some old fashion were still brought back to the present era. Boys wearing small shorts, girls wearing elephant pants and big round glasses. If us, the people in the community, has seen different personalities wearing this kind of outfits, the dominant ideology is that we might think that these things are the current in the society, or in Tagalog term, mga uso, and we might also think that kailangan sumabay sa uso, of course, or else mapag-iwanan tayo. And media played a great part in bringing this back, since models and influencers wear this type of clothes, and then the people do follow. And I guess that's it.
Is it my turn na ba? Ako na ba?
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay, sorry, I'm having my internet issue na. So, we cannot deny the fact that social media helps us to cope up in every aspect of one's people's personality, especially in psychological and emotional. We can feel pleasure and happiness when we are surfing on our social media accounts. Whenever we have our opinions to say, we just isang click, isang type lang nung saloobin natin, nandun na lalabas na dun yung opinion natin towards dun sa our feelings toward on other people's lives. So on emotional aspect, once we gain more views and ito nga no, na alam nga natin na social media affects one person's mind, one people's mind on emotional aspect. Once we gain more views and more attention, we tend to make more contents that can contribute happiness to our audiences. So, kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng mataas na engagement, nagkakaroon ng mataas na views or mataas na attention, nagkakaroon tayo ng tendency na we create more entertaining contents that can give happiness to our audience. And based on the internet sources that I've read, social media ideologies affects one people's psychological state, that when social media users receive positive feedback or likes, the brain fire off dopamine receptors, which is facilitated in part by the VTA. Outside of the reward system, social media stimuli can affect the brain's decision making and emotional processing function. So ibig sabihin parang yung naka sa brain natin na kapag nagkakaroon ng once na nagkakaroon tayo ng maraming likes, na maraming engagement nga doon sa isang stuff na pinost natin online, nagkakaroon talaga ng affect behavioral and mentally dun sa atin as na nagpo-post ng ganong classic kwento or something na basta.
So it's my turn. Thank you, Mark Balalayo. So as we all know, media is one of the most important tools in improving and surviving in this world today, as far as we've known since it first got its peak in the modern world. Media has certain agendas to make us think that we should be thinking about and do what is supposed to be done. It also forms our opinions on a certain topic that news and influencers put out there for us to watch, hear, read, or just however they want us to know about the information. But since I've been researching about this, according to a video I've watched, it's from Chungdahm Learning channel on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel, by the way. I've put a link in the description. It was said on a video about it that the media actually shapes our opinions. It says there, if a celebrity role model says a particular lifestyle or a behavior is good, fans may be encouraged to follow his or her ways, for better or for worse. So when magazines only showed thin celebrities, it often makes people think that only thin body types are beautiful and acceptable. It is according to Chungdahm Learning channel. So social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, IG, and as well as YouTube influences us almost everything nowadays. Well, nowadays, social media influencers are the ones who give us insights about how societies have changed and what it should be changed. They all depend on the current trends today, as we know it. A great example of this is the Kardashians, as we all can seem to know, seem to be aware of. How they live is how we also would want to live. Most people would want to have their lives as well, that kind of lifestyle. So nowadays everyone wants to be rich and be privileged. When we also see posts of current music videos, we're also getting pulled into watching it as well, because people also want it. And also, for instance, it is we also know about the Black Lives Matter movement. Well, I'm also a Black Lives Matter supporter, and we all see that we support it. We all look good on our image as social media users. So we all have the courage to actually learn about something and have that kind of ideology that everyone would want to unite themselves with, or basing it their morals from, and just having a community with just a single ideology that we all can have a common thing with. So thank you.
So, hi. So, the media affects our thinking either positive or in negative way. So, it has been in our lives on television, radio, newspaper, blogs or vlogs, and etc. So, many of us do not realize that it has impacted our lifestyle, fashion ideas, language, gestures, especially our opinions. It certainly has a huge effect on how we see things. So, it changes our perspective. We do and say things not even realizing if it's right or wrong. So according to an interview of one of the leading apologists, Warren Smith, from the channel of 1 Minute Apologist, he states that we must be mindful when choosing what media we will consume. So he said that media shape our thinking in a very powerful way. So giving an example is that, so you copy me. Gaya niya ako. So when I say to raise our hands and put it on our chin, raise our hands to put it on our chin. So that's what a lot of us do. You put your hand on your cheeks, but I said it's on your chin. So that's how media works. So
I'm not aware of
we
that.
do not realize we do not realize what we consume, if it's on a negative way or positive way. So that's how media works. So you know what Mr. Warren Smith said, reminding us that we must be mindful when choosing what media we will consume. So that's an example. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, so all of those, I agree with all your arguments and sources. It all creates that kind of ideology that, you know, what I've said earlier, make us one, united. Even if just a group of people, just a group of friends, or a nation itself. Well, also I have an additional info. We also have the LGBT community. When we join and support the Pride Month, or when we even share posts about an LGBT couple who just got married, they're able to convince people that they will like the one who shared it and the couple who's in it, so that the people will also support them. It is somehow a snowball effect in creating certain ideologies that unites people to support a certain trend or movement. Well, as simple things like those, it's how powerful the media is now. And another thing, according to Chungdahm Learning, to the same video I've mentioned, the media also shapes our understanding of events. Like for example, if news says protests turned violent, people will most likely view the protesters negatively. But for this same event, if the article says police attacked protesters, people will see the same protest in a different light. That's according to Chungdahm Learning. It's very interesting. This goes the same with when it comes to senators, even the news about the president. The news tells about, like, for instance, how Duterte jokes about his cursing and his groping, touching, and even when kissing women. As we all know that Filipinos now think of him as a pervert, and that other people are stupid enough thinking it's okay for him to do all those things. Because simply he loves joking, he is considered as some sort of a person who just has some sense of humor. People now view him negatively, and it creates that idea that we cannot trust him anymore. I hope I'm right, and I hope you can agree with me. We know comments about him, and it creates that ideology that we should also think negatively of him, and that we should comment our thoughts to them. It creates that kind of freedom, because that's how other people convince other people to do, creating a snowball effect. that social media is a great tool in how we express our thoughts to him and just how we perceive him as now. So when a certain group of influencers tell a certain different group that this certain politician is bad, whatever perception they would want to tell them, they will convince them to think the same thing, so that they will spread their own thoughts to other groups. So, do you agree with me? Yes, and those are my thoughts about it, my additional thoughts, because it's been very interesting about ideologies that media influences us to have nowadays. How about you guys?
Well, me, I'll just want to say my additional insights. When talking about ideologies, I learned that the way we think are mostly influenced by media, of course. But as an individual, we must care on what we might see, and we also should analyze everything. Just like yung example kanina ni Conche, kasi medyo na dali na tayo dun. We should analyze everything if the media contents that we are seeing are maybe acceptable or not. And that's all for me.
Add ko lang, okay. So, di ko lang masyadong na-express yung sarili ko kanina, but yung sinasabi nga dito is social media ideologies affects one's people mind. Kasi sa social media, we can feel pleasure and happiness when we are surfing our social media accounts. So parang kapag nakakaano tayo ng tawag dito na sa sobrang natin sa social media, yung typong akala natin lahat ng opinion natin tama. Okay. Then parang parang na lang yan, nagiging opinionated na tayo sa ibang tao, nagiging parang okay, pa-edit out pa lang. Hindi ko na wag kang tumawa.
So,
Ayun.
add ko lang. Ay, sige, go. Ayan.
Sige, okay lang.
Add ko lang doon sa sinabi ni Mark. Pero tama naman kasi na parang there is satisfaction na nangyayari when we are in social media specifically. Kasi parang parang gusto natin ma-feed yung satisfaction natin and ma-fulfill din yung attention. It's because of the likes, the heart reacts, the wow reacts that we are getting from the social media. So parang nagiging yun yung basehan natin on how we see life, on how we see our lifestyle, na kapag mas madaming attention, mas madaming nakakagusto sa'yo, mas maganda ka, mas sikat ka. So I think yun yung parang pinupunto ni Mark. Parang it's about satisfaction in our life based on social media. Yun. So most of us do.
And I think it's also about appreciation. Kasi kapag ganun, parang nafe-feel natin na kung ano man yung pinopost natin online, parang nagugustuhan ng ibang tao, na appreciate nila yung kung paano natin express sarili natin. And
Okay, do you have any final remarks? Since we have 8 minutes left in our meeting, we can just have a couple of few final remarks if we have. Well, I hope the viewers have learned something for this new episode for tonight.
Okay, ako naman, eto na siguro sa conclusion, spending too much on our social media activates hindi lang yung sinasabi nga natin na your opinion, but it can also affect yung our herd mentality. This means you may lose your ability to think for yourself and form your own opinions, because you're more likely to go along with what's most popular. According to a study published in the ayun nga, na parang nawawalan ka na rin ng parang nagiging isa ka ng taong walang paninindigan, yung para bang kung ano yung kung ano yung sinasabi. Kunyari parang ano yan, ayaw mo sa pizza na may pineapple kasi yun yung sinasabi ng media sa'yo. Yun yung sinasabi na hindi masarap yung isang pizza kapag wala siyang pineapple. Pero pero okay naman siya. Yun lang na parang kapag once na you are depending on social media, parang nawawalan ka nga ng mentality na minsan pala kailangan mong meron ka ring side para sa sarili mo na hindi yung media ang magdidictate kung saan kang side dapat mag-i-stand. Ganun. I hope that I make myself unclear. Ganun. I hope myself clear. Ganun. Basta, sana naunawaan.
Okay, so that's it. Our episode will be ending in a few minutes. So my final remarks will be: ideology moves within us, our mindsets. So the lesson I want the viewers to learn about is to accept the information they think is the right thing for them to learn from. They must not let themselves be consumed by wrong information and ideologies that will go against their own morals. So the media is a big thing today, and we must be careful in what we watch, read, or see on the internet. We are all responsible after all. And thank you, folks, for sticking around with us throughout this podcast episode. We all hope that we've learned a lot tonight and that we are always pleased by our content. Especially giving a shout out to Ma'am Chirero Ho for making this episode possible again for our future podcast episodes. Please, if you like sticking around with us on every episode and that you'd love to get notified, please hit that notification bell. Also hit that like button, type to comment, and smash subscribe. Thank you guys for always supporting our channel, and please always keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.